Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joined today by Ali Moreno, and Stuart Robson's favourite pundit is back.
Hey!
Lots to talk about, not only reflections on the Champions League, but let's start, shall we, with Robert Lewandowski and what he had to say about his future at Bayern Munich today. My story with Bayern is over. After everything that has happened in recent months, I cannot imagine further good cooperation. I believe that Bayern will not stop me leaving because it has the opportunity to. For more on this, let's welcome in, shall we, Frank Leboeuf. Jules, I want to start with you first. Is that it? Will he never play for Bayern again?
Well, I don't think anyone knows the answer just now because, as we know, and we've heard already, Oliver Kahn, for example, responding to what Lewandowski said in that press conference with Poland, saying, well, he's got a contract and we're not letting him go anywhere. So there will be a clash, of course. Pini Zahavi has already mentioned to Bayern Munich, who is Lewandowski's agent, that he was going to go and that they were going to find a club with offers to get him away from Bayern Munich. And Bayern are saying he's not going to go anywhere. He's got 1 year left on his contract. He will stay, and then he can go next season, next summer, on a free. So someone will win, someone will lose that clash. I think it's impossible right now to say who will, but I think it will be one of the sagas of the summer for sure.
What's the heart of the frustration from his side, Jules? Is it the fact they've let it get to a stage where he's just got 1 year left, where they were flirting with Haaland for so long, and he just feels a bit neglected?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. First is the flirting with Haaland. You're right. The second thing is that he wanted a new 3 year deal, where he's 33. He's turned 34 at the start of next season. They were like, hang on a minute. As amazing as you've been for us, and he really, really has. This is not. You don't give a 34-year-old a 3 year deal. Well, you can, but this is not what they wanted to do. And I don't think he took that well. I think as well that he's been eyeing up a move for a long time now. Remember, there's a few summers where Pini Zahavi was kind of offering him to a few clubs around. He was already making a bit of a noise. And maybe he feels after all those years at Bayern, this is the time now. Because again, at 34, he's obviously very close to the end and of his career. So he's thinking, if I want to move and if I want to play in another league and discover something different, it has to be now. I'm not sure in a year's time, there would be maybe as many clubs who would want him than there could be potentially this summer. So that's why as well he's thinking, you know what, this is the right time for me to move on.
Is it Barcelona or bust, Jules?
At the moment, they're the only one, really. There's other clubs like PSG, like Chelsea, who I think are just looking from afar what's going on and what's happening. But Barcelona are really the one who not have just register their interest, but also have spoken to Lewandowski, Xavi and Lewandowski, Xavi and Pini Zahavi, Laporta and Pini Zahavi, and even I believe the two clubs also have had talks over, okay, how much would you want in terms of money transfer fee for someone who has 1 year left on his contract and who is turning 34 at the start of the season. So they're clearly the one who are right now in the driving seat, if you want, in the leading the race for him. The problem is, and we go back again to what we've said many times on the show, they don't have the money. They can't even register Sergio Roberto's new contract, let alone Lewandowski with a transfer fee and the much higher wages than Sergio Roberto. So if he stays like this, they won't even be able to sign him.
From the Bayern Munich perspective, Stevie, you look at it and you say, you knew the deal when you signed this contract. You put pen to paper on this. Mm-hmm. You have a 1 year left. You're obliged to honour it.
Well, the truth is, if that is how Oliver Kahn is speaking to Lewandowski, then he'll be getting out the door as fast as he can. You know, it's one thing to look at the facts, and the facts are that he signed a deal that doesn't run out until 12 months' time. But that doesn't mean that, as a board and as the man in charge of football decisions, that you treat somebody and humiliate somebody, because that's what Lewandowski thinks has been going on. He's been humiliated, all the talk about Haaland, when this guy's scoring 46 and 50 goals a season, every season, and he's been made, well, as I said, in his eyes, he's been humiliated. So, no, there are certain things that change, even though you do have 12 months on your contract. And Bayern Munich, well, it's coming back round to haunt them, the way that they've dealt with them.
On paper, Bayern Munich are doing the correct thing, right? Even when they're flirting with Haaland, They're saying, okay, this guy's 33, will be 34 by the end of the contract. There's no chance that we're going to renew him if we can get Haaland to walk through this door. So we're preparing for the future. It is what a club should do. Now, that's on paper, in a vacuum. But there are emotions involved in this. There are human beings involved in this. And it plays a role. It plays a major part in all of this because, Stevie just mentioned it and you just alluded to it, if his feelings are hurt, Robert Lewandowski, who at one point, if not for Karim Benzema, would be the best out-and-out striker in the world, and you're having to go around to get somebody else, and you're not paying attention to me, I'm your star. I'm scoring goals for you right now. Right now, I'm scoring goals for you. You don't know what this guy is going to do for you. Right now, I'm your guy, and yet you're unable to love me. That emotional, I think, adjustment and that emotional component that comes into a conversation like this is what I think pulls this apart, because it's become personal. And once it becomes personal, there's no coming back around.
Let's go to the most humble member of this panel. Frank, how do you see it?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to start with me like that. Well, you know, if I follow Alejandro's path, and if emotionally it can be tricky, you have to realize that if you keep Lewandowski against his will, you will have also an emotional problem. So he won't give maybe what you are expecting him to give for his last year. And there is another thing. On the other hand, Lewandowski is playing a dangerous game because, as just mentioned, Barcelona hasn't got the money to make him sign for them. So where are the other options? Jules talked about Paris Saint-Germain. Well, they still have Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe. Where Chelsea, it's not really the politic of the club to bring older players over 30. So it's going to be tricky to know what's going to happen. But I always thought that at the end of the day, if a player doesn't want to stay, you can't keep him. So at a certain point, Bayern Munich will have to give up.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.